dip a toe. We have a special show for you guys tonight. It's ladies' night. I got all my best girlfriends in here with me, some of the smartest, well-rounded women in the digital asset space. I want to welcome, we got 49 people in here already. Please like and share this out. For those of you that are watching on X and YouTube and Rumble, please like, share, and subscribe to our page. Tell your family, tell your friends, come out and listen to this conversation. I'm super excited because I have Miss Linda P. Jones tonight in the house. She is an author. And she's, what is it? The Be Healthy and Smart, Be Wealthy and Smart podcast. And we also have Molly Elmore of Val Hill Capital. We have my good friend Brooke. We have Maia from Fruition Productions. Our friend Kellie, part of the Reaper crew. We have Miss Keda, my true steady co-host for Simon, the filling in. I really appreciate every time she comes and shares with me. We have Miss Lady K, who most of people that are probably watching this knows exactly who Miss Lady K is. Miss Optimistic Prime, Miss Amanda Jones Archer, builder on the XRP Ledger. And we have Miss Beautiful Tiara joining us, and you might know her, and she's part of the new, what is that crew? Well, we'll talk about that in a little while.
Protectors of the Frequency.
The Protectors of the Frequency. Welcome to the show, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me. This is going to be a great conversation. Before we start off, I would like to go around the room and have everyone kind of introduce themselves and just give a little brief introduction of yourself and what your background is. I'll start with Linda.
Okay, well, thanks, Melissa. It's great to be here with you and all the ladies. And as you said, I'm a podcaster. I have the Be Wealthy and Smart podcast. Done that for about 10 years, have over 1,400 podcasts. Written 2 books, these 2 books right here, a crypto book and a general finance book. And I'm also an entrepreneur, have my own business, the Be Wealthy and Smart VIP experience. So it's great to be here, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Molly Elmore. You're kind of you're a leader in this space in the XRP army, in my eyes, and in the women leading the pack with educating and inspiring others. Please tell people a little bit about yourself. You're muted.
I'm currently a partner at Val Hill with Jimmy Valley, and we are sort of tackling the world of tokenization. But kind of when I got into crypto, I had a coaching program for women because at that time, especially, it was very much a male-dominated world. And required reading for my students were both of Linda's books. So she was one of my big intros into the world of XRP and sort of the utility asset space, because a lot of the crypto bros that I was hanging out with at the time were very ETH and Bitcoin focused. And I found Linda's books and I was like, wait a minute, I don't know if these guys know the big picture. So I'm eternally grateful to Linda for her books and her wisdom that I've passed on.
I did not know that, Molly. Thank you so much. That's awesome.
That's fantastic. Miss Brooke. Miss Brooke was in the Fruition Productions Rigged from the Start, aka XRP Unleashed. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, Brooke.
Okay, I'm Brooke, and I consider myself a deep researcher. My day life, I have a little farm that I tend, and a mom. So,
thank you so much for joining us, Maia, XRP Queen. Please tell everybody a little bit about yourself. You've caused quite a stir here in the last few weeks.
Yes, my name is Maia, and I am XRP Queen. I'm part of the Fruition Network, Productions Network. We made Rigged from the Start, aka XRP Unleashed, and I am just so happy to see all of you ladies. I remember back in the day, Brooke and I tried to do a women's, kind of podcast thing over a TikTok, and you know, we did it for a little while, but it is incredible to see just how many more women have come into the space. And just want to say thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it, Melissa, and thank you to you all. It's really cool to see it. So, yeah, that's me. So,
I thank you so much for coming. I love it when you visit dip a toe.
of course.
Miss Kellie. Kellie, I met on X, and I met her through all my Reaper crew friends, and we like to do a little karaoke on Saturdays. Please tell everybody a little bit about yourself, Kellie.
Hi, I'm Kellie. I'm just me, and I'm kind of nervous. So yeah, I'm just kind of a community member. I love learning about crypto and blockchain technology. And I've met a lot of people online, in person, and I love to I really find it enjoyable meeting people in person that we're meeting on that we've met online. That's enough.
Alex says Kellie is amazing. So thank
Kellie
you
is
so
lots
much
of
for
fun to
coming.
hang out with in person. I will vouch
She
for
is a
that.
blast. I had the great
So is
fortune of
Molly.
meeting you guys, and I can't wait to hang out again. Let's put it that way. Miss Keda, my stable friend that's smart and inspiring. Please tell everybody, for those of the people in the audience, there's 300 people in here, by the way, that don't know you. Please tell them a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So my name is Keda, or Makita. I'm Keda1211, and I've been in this space for a little while. I actually got introduced to digital assets by my sister. And she just told me about XRP and was like, hey, this is something you need to learn about. And I kind of went to the nth degree about it. I got a chance to do an interview with Miss Molly Elmore. She had me on her show. So I got a chance to chat with her and really get to kind of learn more from her, and we got to really kind of chop it up a little bit, which was great. And I got to hug her neck in Las Vegas in May this past year. So it's been really great, and I got a chance to also hug your neck, Melissa, while I was there as well, and be able to dip my toe into crypto with you, and have some amazing conversations with the ladies in this group. I kid you not, with Maia and Brooke and Optimus and Miss Lady K and Kellie. I'm sure we'll get a chance to chat as well. But it's been awesome. It's such a great space and a great way to be able to meet more women in the space. So I'm thankful to be here.
And you do a great job. She has a show on Thursday nights, a space called Keep It at 100 with Keda and the crew.
Yep.
So those of you that are on X, check that show out at 8:00 on Thursday evenings. Thank you so much, Keda. Lady K. Now, Lady K is another one that I met through the Reaper crew. If you're on X, you will find Lady K in many different spaces. A lot of times she's the co-host of these spaces. Very well-rounded, educated lady. Please tell people a little bit about yourself, Lady K.
Well, I'm Lady K, and I love talking about crypto. I find that this space is just a wealth of knowledge. And so I learn something every day, which is why I keep coming back. So
same here. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate it. Miss Amanda, Optimistic Prime, builder of the Wandering Footprint on the XRP Ledger and Stellar. Please introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Amanda Jones Archer. I'm a truther by trade. My background is political science and nursing. I've had a dream to create heaven on earth since I was a little girl. And so I'm basically reverse engineering that on the blockchain. And I started off building on Stellar in 2021 with my Ohm coin. And then I created the XOM token on XRPL. November 11th, 2023. It's still just sitting there waiting to figure out how to launch it properly. And so I've actually been working on a meme project, which is called the Blue Umbrella Token. You can stand under my blue umbrella. And the method of this is to allow for community building and to learn as much as we can about the XRPL before it gets real with the XOM token. My project is the Wandering Footprint, and I'm a mom of 3 kids under 8, and I live on a school bus named Optimistic Prime for going into my 7th year. And I believe this year I'm getting my doors, guys. We're getting the house this year. So thanks so much for having me. And I'm just so excited about this conversation. And I'm so excited about what's happening in XRP, guys. I'm freaking out.
Well, thank you so much, Amanda, for coming. I really appreciate it. Miss Tiara, I'm so glad that you came to join us. Tiara is somebody that I also met around the Reaper crew and the karaoke on Saturday nights with the Gotta Be Karaoke on X Spaces. Please tell people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name's Tiara. I'm a mom, homeschools my son. I'm a deep researcher, a crypto queen, XRP advocate, and just all around, supporter of people looking to build their own path towards, financial stability and independence.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us. We have 492 people in here. I want to say quick hello to some of the people. Island Ghost is in here. Niall's in here. Alex, Life with Glee, Becky Forbes. Dark Horse has showed up. Hello, Dark Horse. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Matt Riley, Crypto Tropics, Matt Riley, Toastman Tech, our good friend. I do want to bring something up before we start. And that is, I want to give a message in the chat. There's a lady named Rosemary, and Rosemary is one of the most amazing people that I've met in this space. She's kind, loving, giving, very smart, very supportive of everything that I do and most people on this stage. She's very supportive. And I wanted to give a message to Rosemary because one of the guys, Climber, XRPL, sent me a message last night and said that he wants you to know that you've always been a joy to work with. And, he wanted to give you a shout out from all the fellas at Reaper and let you know how awesome you are and how much they all appreciate your hard work and that they love you. So I wanted to pass that message because she couldn't be here with us. I wanted her to come on, and one of these days we will have her on, but I definitely wanted her to know that. With that said, those of you that are
absolutely amazing.
She is. She's amazing. I've never met her in person, but I've chatted with her a lot, and she's just a quality human being. And that's one thing that I want to say about, the XRP community in general. Most everyone I've met, they've been fantastic people. And I feel like we've all kind of been drawn together like magnets. And everyone's heart seems to be really good. And all of you ladies shine in your own ways. And I recognize that. And the reason I chose all of you to be on together is because you all have your own strengths and what you bring to the table. It's a diverse group of people. Some of us are financial experts. Others are stay-at-home moms teaching their kids, but they're doing the work and they're learning about this digital asset space. And I just want to commend all of you. And I really want your perspective. And so now for the exciting part. All of us in here, I think, in theory, hold the token XRP. It is kind of running kind of like I've never seen before. And I just wanted to kind of go around the room and, first just say, like, what are you guys thinking? Is this blowing your mind? Did you expect this to happen at this time? And where do you see it going from here? Like maybe, I don't know, we don't have to say it for eternity, but maybe by the first quarter of next year, where do you see XRP at? You don't have to necessarily give price predictions, but we'll start with Linda and then we're just going to kind of go around the room if that's okay.
Sure. Well, I can't say that I knew exactly that it was going to take off at this particular time, but I did feel like something would happen this year that was positive, that we would see some movement. I was hoping we were going to get stablecoin legislation this year because Jeremy Allaire had said that this was the year that stablecoins became real money. So I really thought we were going to get legislation in the fourth quarter, and that was going to be the catalyst. So it's a different catalyst. I think the election is really the catalyst, but also just, the whole stablecoins starting hopefully tomorrow. And so much other positive news, just Gary Gensler resigning and new SEC commissioner, just so much. There's just so much news. It's kind of overwhelming, kind of hard to keep track of it all. But I think the price action is exciting, just beginning. I mean, we really are making up for 7 years, not just 4 years that we were under the lawsuit, but because the high was in 2017, we're really making up for 7 years of being behind that all-time high. So I think we have a long way to go. I'm very, very bullish. And I don't know what the price target is for the first quarter, but I do pay attention to what the technical analysts say. And according to the charts, they're showing, as much as maybe $33 to $40 somewhere next year. I think that's very reasonable just based on past cycles repeating. And that doesn't even take into account stablecoin legislation, crypto legislation, and all the institutional money that will pour in after that legislation is passed. So, that I think would be, somewhat of a minimum to expect, really. I mean, I hate to say that. I mean, it's so incredibly bullish. It's ridiculous. But I mean, I can't think about it any other way. We have a long way to go. It's exciting.
It's very exciting. Molly, what do you think?
Sure. So I think we're at a very unique time. I did expect some things to happen around the election. I thought they might happen before. I wasn't even sure if we were going to have an election, but having them happen after fits. I think that to look at the charts for XRP and assume that this is like a stock that, candlestick pattern predictive modeling techniques are going to apply, I think is very short-sighted because this asset is unlike any other. And we're at the beginning of watching the virtuous cycle kick in. Once RLUSD brings a whole lot of liquidity onto the platform and banks and institutions and sovereign entities start to move value using the XRP ledger, we're going to see this we're going to see an increase in price from utility adoption. And simultaneously, we're watching fiat currencies like the dollar hyperinflate themselves out of being logical store of value mechanisms. So why would you hold your wealth in dollars when you have an alternative asset like XRP that is increasing in adoption and is likely a more safe place to hold your wealth? This is the whole point of the virtuous cycle, is two competing forces, store of value and utility. They compete against each other like a cyclone. And that's when we're going to start to see, I think, the very exciting, life-changing prices that are going to drive the Bitcoin maxis through the roof, because to them, they see XRP as a very low value asset, but it's really the only one that has a very logical use case where it's practical and to be used at scale by institutional money that is way bigger than any of these sort of retail investor things. So I think we are just beginning. And even if you were to get in now at $2, $3, that is still a deal. I mean, imagine buying Bitcoin at $2, right? Now it's at 100,000. So when people say that there's no way that XRP could be $100,000 a token, I'm like, how is it that different than Bitcoin that you think that's possible for Bitcoin, but not XRP? That makes no sense. So I think we're at the beginning of a very exciting era, and it's just starting.
I love it. And I'm going to definitely circle back to some of those comments when we come around here again. Brooke, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm a lot like Molly in that the respect of I'm really looking for that utility run. I like all of this there's been so much prep work, it feels like. And the research that I'm doing, it's almost like the connection, like the plumbing's all coming together. And I'm seeing projects kind of link up and this whole payment system, again, coming together. And so I think it's going to take a lot of people by surprise. I think it's very interesting with the price action of XRP and a lot of the hate that it's received from that. And a lot of people's opinions. There was a really good video done by Max Avery where he talked about people analyze crypto like stocks. And so they use market cap and all of these other indicators, and they fail to realize that this is a horse of a different color for a Wizard of Oz reference. This is something that we haven't seen before. And so I'm really looking forward for regulation to come in. We've alluded to the stablecoin and the stablecoin legislation. That's really like I think the launching point. I do have a knowledge of the global financial system, and we've talked about the dollar. And there's a part of me that's kind of looking over my shoulder for a downturn in the economy and to see how that would affect the price action of this. However, it's also a possibility that in an event like that this technology really gets to shine the light on its use case. So it will be a very interesting year. 2025 will be, and I'm here for the ride. So
I agree. Good comment. Maia, what do you think?
Yeah, well, a lot of people thought that we timed the film with the XRP price surge. I would have loved to take credit for that, but that is not the case. I am
God's
glad.
plan.
It was, yeah, exactly. It was exactly how we planned it 11 months ago. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it was amazing, because like the first day of our premieres, it just started pumping. And, Chris kept joking every day it would go up 10 cents. And he was like, maybe we should just travel every single day. Let's just travel forever and it'll keep going up. But, I just knew something in November was going to happen. I just thought, everything all at once. And it did. I was glad that the film ended up coming at the right time, and it's long overdue. I'm just proud of the XRP community for what we've all been through, and being in it since 2017 and going through one bull cycle. I'm just excited for everyone to experience a bull cycle because it is fun. Things happened quickly. Please have your target prices and all of that. But, ultimately, XRP and the crypto community and the crypto space is just going to keep on increasing and growing. And so just want to say again, thank you for having me on the show. And so good to see all of you guys, you ladies. So, but I do think I see it in the first quarter or so. I'm hoping with all the catalysts that it could maybe, by March or so get up to, I don't know, between 7 and 10. I'm hoping, but there's a lot of catalysts. And so I think it's good for us to pay attention. RLUSD, the IPO, Gary Gensler getting out, Trump and his, inauguration, all that stuff is happening. So yeah, I'm excited for next year. I think it's a good year. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Maia. And that's one thing I really respect about this group of ladies is nobody has their head in the clouds. Everyone has reasons behind their opinions, and nobody's diving off the deep end with crazy talk. There's logical thought process behind why you think it might go a certain direction, but nobody pushes their ideas on anyone else. And I really respect that about everyone here, because we're all in different places in life. We have different experiences. Some of us know more about finance, like I said, than others. Some of us know the stock market really well. Some of us don't know a thing. And we're just kind of floating around in here and trying to figure out what to do. And so it's really good to have a well-rounded opinion of a group of people that can have an unbiased opinion. So I really appreciate that. Kellie, what do you think's going to happen? What do you think? What do you think about all this stuff?
Well, here's the deal. I don't know. I don't know, but I have been holding since like 2017. We saw what it did then. There's similarities happening now. And actually, when I talk to like a lot of my like friends or family, like in person, in real life, I always tell them, they're like, "Oh, should I buy it now?" The thing I say was, like, how long do you want to hold? If you're looking for like a month, no, maybe not. But and especially if you start to research and look into what is possible with the XRP ledger, like, then, I'm getting nervous.
No, don't be nervous. You're doing great.
No, but then if as long as you can hold, then it's just a matter of time too. But actually, honestly, I think obviously it's going to be going up. It's going to be going up, and I'm excited.
I think you make really good points.
2021, we got a little shortcutted, I believe, and so I'm ready for it. I think, but when people talk about getting in now, I think it's like, how long do you want to hold? I guess that's what I was trying to get at.
No, I think that's a very valid point, Kellie, because everybody is in a different place in life. You're at different ages. You have a different amount of money. A certain amounts of money could make different impacts on everybody. Everybody's different. And so that is a very valid point that you bring up, is that everyone needs to assess their own reality. Yeah. What is good for them? How long do you have to wait? As to what type of assets that you're going to get into. Just because it's crypto doesn't mean it's going to go to the moon tomorrow, like a lot of the influencers would have you believe. So, this is all about making an educated guess, right? A decision on what you're wanting to invest in. And through making the educated guess is to assess your current situation and dream to figure out what do you need to be satisfied for the rest of your life. Or are you trying to have a legacy for your children and your grandchildren? So these are all important questions, and that was an excellent point you brought up.
I think absolutely. I think definitely, like, if someone's like, how much should I hold? It's an individual thing, right? It's all a personal thing. How much you can afford, what you're willing to lose, what you're willing to put in, what you're willing to gain. So thanks.
Thank you. Miss Keda, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, this is an interesting time, right? And I agree, you definitely have to take stock and think about what your goals are in your investments. In a lot of instances, people got into digital assets in the cryptocurrency space just because of what you said just a second ago. They felt like it was a get rich quick situation and didn't really look at it in the sense of, this is an investment, we should treat it as such. For myself, I was never really an investor. I was never that person. So this was a huge learning curve for me, for a person who didn't really come up understanding the whole entire financial world, sector, how things work, just money and how money moves. So I had to really kind of go on a real journey of understanding how this works. I think now, because of the fact that I have taken the time to really deep dive and understand it a bit better, I have better thought processes as to how these things work, and also have a different mindset, I guess, when I'm looking at this, because I'm looking at this for future. And I'm looking for this as a way to have passive income and let my money work for me as the elites do all the time. So if that's the case, then I need to do a little bit more research, right? I need to be looking for those white papers. I need to be understanding how the technology works. And that may not work for everybody else. You know what I mean? They may not want to do all of that. They may not be looking for this for the long term. So for me, in thinking about how this will move forward, I'm one of those people that I see, as Miss Linda said not too long ago, you kind of need to look at XRP as if you were looking at Berkshire Hathaway. And as I looked at Berkshire Hathaway, I saw that Berkshire Hathaway was at $719,000 per share. Okay, so if you're thinking about it from that vantage point, some of these people need to really start doing the math. And I mean doing the math on paper so that they can see the zeros behind it, so they're not like
freaking out.
French, freaking out and pooping their pants because they are just have never seen or even wrapped their brains around what could possibly be in the future. And it doesn't mean that this is exactly what's going to happen. I'm just saying you need to wrap your brain around it. Because all this is going to do as we go further is amplify everything that is your personality. So if you're a jerk, you're going to be more of a jerk.
Yeah.
If you're a spender, you're going to be more of a spender. If you're going to be a person that wants to give and do better for the universe and for the world around you, you're going to be that times 1,000. So think about what your goal is. I know that's what I've been doing, is thinking about how can I make the world better?
Yeah.
What can I do better for my kids? What can I do better for our health? And as a nurse, that is forefront in my mind. You know what I mean? Forefront is how can I make my life and my kids' lives better so that they live longer and we don't we don't keep getting killed by everything that's being pumped into our bodies. So these are the things that I'm thinking about, and hopefully I can help to try to make this place a better place.
Thank you, Keda. The great points. Great points. Miss Lady K, what are your thoughts, my friend?
Well, I always looked at this as event-based and not time-based, right? And all the obstacles we were facing, both aisles of the Congress fighting in, digital asset hearings, the Biden administration choke pointing crypto, like the state of the economy. Like I was hoping that we would get a crypto-friendly administration, that then we would get crypto laws, and then the case would end, and then the obstacles removed so that we could really run. And so it's like seeing a crypto-friendly administration get in, and already seeing XRP go is like so exciting. It's like, yes, like it's time to remove all the obstacles and let it go. And I kept telling my husband it was looking more like 2025, and he kept saying, "You're wrong." And I'm so happy I was right. So.
Very, very awesome. I agree with you 100%. All of those things are very important. And who knows? I mean, when everything kind of falls into place, who knows where this will go? I think we're living in exciting times, and the fact that we're actually awake and seeing this, and I hate to use the word awake, but we are, damn it, we're awake and we see, and we're using our time wisely by researching these things and looking into all of the different projects. And you do a lot of work in the background that people probably don't see, and you go you're on all these spaces and showcasing people in the community, and that makes a difference. And so when I'm listening to you, I'm getting to hear all of the other things that are happening, because I never like to keep myself in a box. And that's, again, another thing with all of the ladies. And the reason I chose you is, we expanded our thinking. there's more than just XRP. I mean, Linda P. Jones, there's more than just XRP, but you're bright enough to understand that XRP is a gem. And you're able to communicate that with your audience. And I think that's wonderful. Miss Amanda, Optimistic Prime, what do you think?
Well, I was thinking so a few things. One, I saw a couple memes this week and they really resonate. One was, when's the best time to buy XRP? And it was like now. And so I think that goes back to what Kellie was saying about how it really depends on how long you're holding it. Ultimately, my friends actually jumped on board. I wrote all the people that I really, really love 2 weeks, like right as soon as the movie came out. I was like, okay, guys, my friend have made a movie. It's coming out. I've warned you a bunch of times. This is my last offer. Like, if you want me to teach you, I'm available right now. And then I'm pretty much unavailable. So if you want to take me up on the offer, I had 2 people take me up on the offer. That was like the 12th. So now they're writing me like, what? This is so exciting. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. And then I had my friend, this is my friend from nursing school. So she's still a nurse. Okay. So we have had really, tumultuous friendship over the past 4 years, but we just never talk about that tumultuous, and we just know we love each other and we trust each other. And we had babies like within a month of each other. Like we became moms within a month of each other. So her husband writes me today and says, so what do you think? Why is it dropping? What's happening here? And I said, I was like, calm down. It's okay. I said, it's a sale. Just remember the people that are selling right now bought in at 0.001. This is not a this month thing. This is generational wealth. If we're right, but it seems like we might be right. And so it sort of, retrained his mind, because I think that they were looking at it as a stock because they started playing with other cryptos. And then the next meme I saw was there ain't no second best. And I thought, because I'm in a lot of meme spaces right now, and that's sort of what my part of the portion I want to talk about. I think Lady K, you're in a lot of them with me, so that I think you can attest to this. Tiara and Kellie, I think that you're watching those people. Being in the meme spaces is very interesting because, like all memes, it really is community based. And so what I'm witnessing is that the influx is memes. The influx is these kids coming over from other blockchains who are 20, 21, 25, 27. They decided to quit, high school and been making money over on Solana, heard there's memes over on XRP, and are coming over here and going from 200 XRP to 20,000 XRP because they've been practicing the game for 5 years over in Solana. They can swindle anybody. So don't be playing with the big dogs if you don't want to lose in the big dogs kind of thing. But ultimately, I'm learning so much from these kids because I just sit in their spaces and listen. Yep. And I'm learning about their culture. I'm learning about what's drawn to them. And what's freaking amazing to me is the things that they're saying about consciousness, about lore. They're really into the lore. The kids that are moving over from Solana are super into the lore about the bear and about, the all the little symbols like the mountains and, like all those symbols that we've seen, and they're being iconized in memetics, in memes. And so because I have a meme token, mine's like on the back burner over here because we're not on the First Ledger. So First Ledger was a huge catalyst to all this, right? Because, where I had to like figure out how to make a token on my own and figure out how to use XRPL.services and all of this stuff. These people just like went into First Ledger, typed in a couple buttons, and presto, their tokens there with the image and all this stuff. Now, there are limitations to that, right? Because they all burned their issuer wallet, where mine isn't burned. So I have a lot more control over, a lot of things that have to do with my token in the future. But in terms of immediate response, First Ledger is as fast as you can get on. There it is. And it's in Telegram, which a lot of people, if they don't like Discord, a lot of us flip between Telegram and Discord. And so what I'm witnessing is this isn't utility. This is just speculation. This is just fun. People are coming over here for fun. They're seeing how quick, how easy, but most of all, they're seeing the community. And for me, that's what's so inspiring, is that those of us who've been here for a while are creating the energy field into which these people are coming in. And so for me, it's the most validating thing, because I have always felt the only way out is through, and the only way out is together. And it's each one of us resonating in our own highest frequency that creates a resonance field that allows for others to be authentic, to be to not be afraid of being transparent, to not be afraid of, you know, like the ledger is as transparent as you can get. So to get out of your mind that you're scared that you've done something wrong. You know, there are certain people on the planet that should be afraid, but not us. And so I think ultimately, in terms of where we're going, I think it's nowhere up, nowhere up but up, nowhere to go but up. I think if it dry, and like I said to my friends, really at this point, remember, it's how many you have. It's not the price. Don't look at the price, because ultimately
Just
this
get a
is
bag.
going to be a roller coaster ride. And yeah, ultimately, you know, oh, and the last meme I saw was, or actually somebody wrote it. They said, the question was, how many is enough? And they responded with one. There will come a time, I believe, that some people will never even have one. And so if you have one, you are way ahead of the curve. And that's what I believe.
Good job. Thank you for sharing that. And we're going to touch on some of those points too. Tiara, what are your thoughts, my friend?
Oh, I'm super bullish on XRP in 2025. I think more and more people are going to start paying attention. And once they experience the speed, the transparency, the fun, the community, the memes, whether you like art, whether you like music, there's space for everybody. And you know, there's so much that can be done with XRP that it's mind-blowing, and it continues to grow every single day. So I think people will really start to appreciate it. And like Optimistic Prime was saying, with the Solana crews coming through and their meme culture, they fell in love with XRP. You know, and that got a lot of hype going around in the community. And it's just been fun to see all the growth in the use cases. And I'm excited to see, you know, where we can take it, where, you know, what people can do with it. It's exciting. And I think other people will appreciate that too.
I agree with you. Well said. This bring, so there's so many points that you all made. I think I'm gonna just this is gonna just be a free for all. Like, who wants to chime in? But my thoughts are going to this. Number one, you got Linda P and Molly, both very savvy in the financial world. You know, this has got to be a little bit wild to see with the XRP, like as Tiara and Optimistic Prime were mentioning. We've got, you know, there is a little bit of a meme culture starting where on a lot of the other blockchains, they were dominating there. Why? Because they couldn't build, or they didn't think they could build on XRP ledger because of the lawsuit and all the other things that kind of held us back, as addressed in Fruition Films Rigged from the Start's film. And so now, since we've got some clarity and some green lights, you're seeing more and more folks kind of jumping on over onto the XRP ledger. And so what I've noticed is, number one, even though we're a large community, it's been kind of small. It's kind of a small, intimate. We've kind of know each other. We, you know, there's different pockets of folks in the XRP family that have different opinions on things, but overall, we all get along, and we there's kind of a consensus amongst us all. We are now seeing the Solana crew, and like Optimistic was bringing up, these guys are no joke. I went into several different spaces. They hold spaces where they have thousands of people every day, every hour on there at all given times of the day and night. And they're all about building on the XRP and inspiring everybody to take their money off of Solana and go over to the XRP ledger. And they are. So what does that do for speculation on the price, the drive, just the awareness to the public? And then given that you can now buy XRP on all these different exchanges, the ones that had delisted it, you can buy it much more easily now. Holy smokes. So I just wonder what everybody is thinking about these new people coming in, and what are your thoughts? Good, bad, and different. Do you think that having more of a meme culture? Well, I should say also with the opening of First Ledger, which is also a whole new world, as somebody mentioned, getting onto First Ledger and being able to host your tokens and your NFTs and all of that. We're seeing just an increased activity with the XRP token itself than we have in the past. And so anybody, what are your thoughts? Are you excited, happy, frustrated? You think this is a good thing, bad thing? What?
Oh, you can go.
No. Please, Kellie, go ahead.
Okay. I would say I've been onto some spaces where, like when First Ledger just came out, and then, a couple weeks after, and then even 2 days ago. And you know what? Taking like the positive out of it is that initially it was like, oh, like there wasn't much explanation to the ledger. And now I go into these spaces, and now they're talking about setting up their wallets and actually learning more about it. So I think that's a good thing to take away from that. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be people that, I don't know. That's it. That's all I got.
Well, I think that now, right now, because we are starting to see the FOMO coming in. You know what I mean? Right now, XRP is pretty much everywhere. We've seen it on mainstream. Brad Garlinghouse is going to be on 60 Minutes pretty soon. And, with that, if I'm not, they said that they're supposed to let us know pretty soon when that will happen. Everybody thought it was going to be last Sunday, and we're pretty disappointed when it wasn't. But at the same time, I've said this, and I know Melissa's heard me say this, the minute that it goes on 60 Minutes, you can almost forget it. It's about to be over. You know what I mean? It's already at a point right now where the market is almost pricing people out that may have, been told about it before when it was 33 cents and 50 cents. You know what I mean? And if that's the case, we're going to see a lot of people trying to FOMO in. I think the time that people are not going to be able to get a full XRP is coming pretty soon. And of course, they have made it such that that's going to be the case because they made it with 1 million drops, right? They made it so that it could be fractionalized. You know what I mean? And if you're not seeing it that way, you're missing the boat. You know what I mean? And because of that, it really is doing what Bitcoin did, but doing it faster and cheaper, and you know what I mean, in a way that can really start to push that internet of value, which is what we are looking toward, and what XRP is an instrument to be able to exchange value for value. Not even a financial instrument, because it doesn't necessarily have to be financial.
Doesn't have to be. Yeah, you're right. It's an instrument.
Value for value. And the minute that you start thinking about it on that level and start looking at it from the vantage point of what is value, right? You know what I mean? When you and just think about, let that sit for a second. What is value, right? Is it intellectual value? Is it monetary value? Is it information value? And if that's the case, and you think about it from that vantage point, you can just see how exponential this can be. You know what I mean? And I think that people have not really wrapped their brains around it in totality. And I think that's where we're going to be having some misses and some people that might feel like they're missing the boat.
You just reminded me what I wanted to circle back, what Molly had said regarding Bitcoin and the price. and nobody thought that Bitcoin would be almost $100,000 a coin. Okay. And so,
Right.
you know, I know that there's people out there that still to this day are like, oh, you guys are smoking something to believe that XRP can get past, you know, all-time highs or past $5 even. However, nobody thought that about Bitcoin either. Bitcoin has laid quite a network for itself. It's got the backing of the people. Like, you know, when you talk about what is value, how much is something worth? It's what the people say it's worth, right? And Bitcoin has done a fine job of discovering that and getting people to support that. And obviously it's working. XRP has been building something that is going to change the way that we do business in terms of exchanging value for value. I see it as something that is going to potentially, you know, countries are going to be able to use whatever currency they freaking want and be able to do commerce with each other, exchange value for pennies on the dollar in seconds. That is so liberating and freeing. In my mind, when I think about it, it's so much bigger than what people are thinking about when they think about XRP and the possibilities of what they mean. And so, but is getting back to Bitcoin in the price, nobody thought it would be this much. Nobody thought it would be this much, not even close. They thought, I mean, so what are we thinking like that is a comparison. Like it's been around as long as Bitcoin. It has had way more issues than Bitcoin, roadblocks or choke points or whatever you want to say. Once those choke points are removed, holy smokes.
So I have some thoughts on this. So Bitcoin maxis, if you hang out with them, they think Bitcoin's going to be $1 million a token. So to them, 100,000 is like a stepping stone to where they think it's going.
Yeah.
However, one of the problems with that is if you're a Bitcoin maxi and you think your Bitcoin's gonna be worth $1 million a token, you don't really want to spend it to go buy a pizza, right? Like that's the whole sort of joke about the guy who spent whatever 15 Bitcoins to buy a pizza. So people are not really using Bitcoin for transactions because there's this perception that it is undervalued for what they believe it's worth. This is why XRP as a bridge currency is such a brilliant idea, because I can use it temporarily to move value without having to necessarily kind of like spend it, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And, you know, if you really want to piss off some of the like TA guys, is bring up the subject of fair market value versus market value, because none of them very rarely know the difference. They think they are the same thing, and they're absolutely not. So if you've done any work understanding what fair market value is and how assets get valued by the institutional financial community, aka investment banks, you would know that assets like XRP are dramatically undervalued, considering they will be used for utility, basically to exchange values like a cross-border payments currency or bridge currency, and then also to store value, which is unique because Bitcoin can't really be used for payments. Like you can't run your whole payroll for your company using Bitcoin. The transaction fees would be too high. Now, I do think XLM will probably be the more retail-facing currency for something like payroll, but XRP, when used at scale to process thousands and millions of transactions a second, whatever, Bitcoin is impractical for that use case. Yes. So this is why I happen to believe the thesis that XRP was developed as a better Bitcoin to solve some of the problems that Bitcoin as a prototype was incredible as, like, you know, the first pass.
Yeah.
XRP
You mean like the beta test coin?
Pretty much. I hadn't really thought about that. How clever. And I the other thing I find fascinating, because I'm a marketer by trade, the Bitcoin marketing machine is fantastic and world-class for something that is apparently decentralized and no one's in charge of. Like they have like there aren't 25 logos. Like there's one logo that everybody uses. Like it's like they're on brand and on point all the time. There's no deviation from the marketing messages.
And who pays for it?
It was too easy. She said, who pays for it?
I mean, whoever created Bitcoin. I mean, that's the other thing. And Jimmy brings this up a lot. Like when you are a fiduciary who is going to invest your client's money into an asset like a Bitcoin ETF, you have an ethical and legal obligation to do due diligence. And the fact that Satoshi Nakamoto's identity is considered irrelevant by the Bitcoin community, it's like potentially negligence.
I completely agree with you, Molly, on that. Exactly. I don't know how they don't. Yeah. Like you
One
said,
thing
it is negligent.
that always has been a question of mine, and I still am a pro Bitcoin person. I do believe that the original intention for the peer to peer is like, as far as it being something that we're going to transact in on a daily basis across the world. Can you transact in it? Yes. Is it scalable? Not in its current form. However, could you use XRP and use your Bitcoin? Yes, you could, for pennies on the dollar in seconds, right? However, to me, it's kind of evolved into the store of value, and with them, as the store of value, digital gold, all these terms. So I feel like it's kind of morphed over time, and it's the people are allowing it to morph into that. And so I still believe that Bitcoin is going to be a significant part of our future in one way or another. Is it the same as XRP? No, it's not. It's not the same thing. And so when people do the battle between XRP and Bitcoin, I think it's silly, really, because they're not the same thing. And if they're not going to be used, could you use Bitcoin to transact? Yes. If you found people that accepted Bitcoin, which eventually there'll be more and more people that will, but most of us that hold Bitcoin, we're holding on to that bag. We're not selling it, right? We're not going to sell our Bitcoin. And we can't use our Bitcoin as a utility to exchange value for value, like we're going to be able to do with the XRP. So I think it is like, it's just they're different animals, right? I mean,
right. It's just to interject, I think you're exactly right that I don't understand the animosity and the tribalism of it all.
Me neither.
Because there's so much that needs to be done to have this brand new financial system run smoothly. Bitcoin can't do that all, and nor should it have to. Or XRP is going to have its market share and the market that it grabs. Great. Same with a bunch of other projects. And that's what all these projects are doing. I think they're going after certain market shares, and they're going after certain use cases. And it's fascinating because I sit in a bunch of very intelligent and high level spaces with people, and they do hold Bitcoin. And it's almost like they went as far as Bitcoin and studied it, and that was it. They shut their brain off. There's nothing else. Yeah. And I find it so fascinating, and I just go, just for a little bit, open up your mind, see what is actually being built. And if you do the research, it paints the picture for you. Mm-hmm. It just does. And so I want to encourage people, like, try not to be so tribalistic, and really, like, open your mind, listen, do the reading, do some digging, ask, how could I be wrong? How could they be right? You can hold a thought in your head and not, like, have to agree with it fully, or you know, like, it's not going to kill you. So, even whenever I get challenged with something, I always try to be like, okay, well, let's look into that. Maybe I agree with it. Maybe I come on board. Maybe I don't. But until I do my due diligence, I really try not to attack something, or, so I find it rather entertaining now.
Yeah.
So.
No, I think you made fantastic points. And that's why I always say I don't want to put myself in a box. I expand my thinking. I am someone that does believe that Bitcoin has value. And if I would have listened to only my Bitcoin friends, initially when I got into XRP, my gut, and so that's the other thing is, most all of you that I've talked to personally has said you felt like you were led to XRP. I most definitely was. And, you know, for some of you out there watching, by the way, we have 1,232 people watching this live stream. Thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for coming to the Dip and Toe Show. But, you know, some people would roll their eyes at that and say, whatever, you know, that's what happened to me. I had like a premonition or whatever. I looked into it. I bought it immediately. I knew it was right. And then I told my friends, and my friends said, that's the banker's coin and blah, 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 you know? And so what did I do? I didn't know anything. I was just starting to dip my toe and I didn't know anything. I didn't know what I was doing. And so I thought, well, all these people know way more than I do. They're much more educated on this space than I am. And so instead of following my gut instinct, I sold it. Well, it was in a time much like we're in today, where the price is going up. And so as I sold it, and within a couple of days, I was like, no, damn it. I have this instinct myself. This is my own decision. I'm going to buy XRP because something's telling me I need to. God is telling me I need to buy it. I bought it back. I lost 1,800 coins for the same amount of money, right? That's how fast the price was going up. So word to the wise to all of you, well, men, women, whoever's out there listening, listen to your gut instincts. Do your own research. Don't let somebody... just because somebody is talking a lot doesn't mean that they know more than you do, or doesn't mean that they're right. You have to make your own decisions when you're investing in anything, whether it is cryptocurrency, stocks, or people. You have to and listen to your own intuition. And so, and I just want people to expand their thinking, you know, expand your thinking on these things.
Melissa, can I add to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I love what you just said because, you know, when people ask me for any advice, you know, I try and steer away from that. I just say, you know what, just listen to your instincts, listen to that intuition, that discernment, you know, because for everyone, each their own thing, you know, the target price is different, whatever the strategy is, but you know, listening to your instinct is always my best advice to give to anyone. If I had, again, like yourself, if I had listened to, especially, I mean, I have a crazy story with Dogecoin, right? Where I put a lot of money into it and people thought I was crazy, but it was that instinct, it was that intuition, and that kind of like, I don't know, you know what? My neighbor said Elon is getting on board. I'm taking the chance. I'm not going to let anyone sway me. I had already learned from a couple other mistakes prior to that. So, you know, I think that's good advice. And I think everyone, again, should just do what is right for them and their families, but always have a target price. And just know that with certain, these XRP in particular, but with other projects, you know, I think they're only going to increase with value. I think trying to work towards becoming self-sovereign in your own bank, you know, trying to see if you can figure out how to do the AMMs, you know, borrow loans against whatever XRP or anything else that you may have. That is the ultimate goal in my mind. But I loved your story, and I agree with you 100%. So.
Thank you. I just want to throw in this crawfish says I gave my boss Linda's book a couple years ago and she ended up buying XRP, XLM, HBAR, XTC. I think I'm her new favorite employee.
Let's go, Linda.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that recently I came across the discussion with Matt Hamilton and Da Vinci talking about XRP versus Bitcoin. If anyone hasn't listened to that, it is so worth listening to. I learned so much.
That's a good one.
Because I learned the Bitcoin perspective more than I thought. And I think where we get a little bit off track and why we can get it kind of loggerheads is like when Da Vinci was talking about it, he was transposing the Federal Reserve and his anger at the Federal Reserve and what he called the fraudulent system of the Federal Reserve. I believe it is a fraudulent system and a captured system and unconstitutional. but he is like blaming XRP for that. And it's like, no, that has nothing to do with XRP. I mean, XRP can be used by the banks or not used by the banks. It's, an independent blockchain that can be used for many different purposes and between many different systems. And yes, banks can use it, but it's not for the banks. It was not created for the banks. Right. And so that's kind of a misnomer, I think, in the Bitcoin community. So really listening to that whole conversation and understanding that there's just, miscommunication, misunderstandings, misbranding, mismarketing. And then I think, what Molly said, that I believe she said Jimmy had said, that you have to be a fiduciary. And this is the reason why I could never invest in Bitcoin, was because if we don't know who created Bitcoin, that just rules it out by definition. Like when I was on Wall Street, never, ever have any investment that you would go into if you did not know who created the investment. It's just rule number one. I mean, it's so fundamental that it still blows my mind that we're investing in something that we don't know who created it. And it could have been the NSA. It could have been, the guy on that island. Who knows? It could be, a foreign government. I mean, who knows? And that to me ruled it out. Now, I lost out on a lot of wealth by not investing in Bitcoin, true, but I couldn't by definition. And so XRP, having the transparency, having Ripple behind it, knowing the people, meeting Brad Garlinghouse, shaking his hand, meeting David Schwartz, hearing them be interviewed, having this all be transparent. It's just such a different experience. And I'd rather be on that team, the team that is out there transparent. We know who we're dealing with. We know what we're dealing with. We're dealing with fast transactions, lowest cost, basically, because ultimately the technology will move to the lowest cost provider. And just, overall, an incredible technology. So I'm really proud to be part of the XRP community.
Well,
you made
said,
really,
good job. Stick to your values. If you're not comfortable with it, then that's okay. But I like.
Who'd we lose?
Brooke, she said that she might have to go when her family came back. Yeah.
She did say that. So we thank you guys. Thank Brooke for coming on the show. I'm sorry we didn't get to say goodbye to her. You brought up,
and I apologize too. I'm going in and out. I've got 4 kids, so they're kind of coming to my door.
We're doing great. If anybody has to dip out, I completely understand, and we will miss you when you leave. You brought up a really good point, Linda, and I think Molly touched on this too with the marketing machine. And so, I don't know about you guys, but my journey in this whole crypto education, I started learning about money, and I learned about government and so many things I've been enlightened on since I started dipping my toe into the crypto space. And Bitcoin was the avenue that brought me in. I drove down that Bitcoin lane and really started thinking about how do I become sovereign, and the banks are corrupt, and there's all these different things that I didn't know about before. And so I will always be eternally grateful for Bitcoin and the community. But the messaging is very strong. It is very scripted. There is a lot of parroting of information that come out. And I think that it was like a perfect time for it to come out, to gain momentum, mainly because our country, and I don't know other countries, but I'm speaking from United States perspective because I live here. But over the past, since 2015 even, or even before, but say 2015, 2016, the pot has been stirred and stirred and stirred, and there's been all this crazy stuff. And you start to really wake up to the messaging, the pre-programming, the television, that they've kind of put these thoughts in our mind. And then when you get into the politics, which I don't want to touch on politics, but I'm just saying the politics are a perfect example of the crypto community and the messaging and the pre-programmed thing. Everybody is so busy we're trying to do our jobs, and we have kids, and we have house payments and car payments. We have all this stuff. We don't have time. So we find somebody that we identify with and that resonates with us, and we hear their message, and it's quick and easy. And then I'm just going to trust that you did your homework because I trust you. I like you. You got pretty teeth and whatever. And then I'm going to start saying that same thing, and I'm going to start believing that same thing. And I'm going to tell everybody. And I never sit down to really sit and think, do I believe what I've been told? Does this make sense? And when I started thinking about it and asking the questions about, well, aren't you worried about, you don't know who Satoshi is? Aren't you worried about, that there is an interview that says there was 4 people, and how everyone is so easily dismissive of that question, or, and I'm like, the due diligence part of the whole thing, it bothered me. And this is not a dig on Bitcoin. I'm just saying, all of you out there that are just so into Bitcoin only, you're doing yourself a disservice because there's so many great opportunities out there as like you to at minimum diversify and start asking the questions, what other things are being built that can benefit my life and benefit humanity?
You got to do your own research yourself.
And one of the most brilliant Bitcoin marketing messages labels is this idea of altcoins. So there's like Bitcoin and then everything else. Like, really? Yeah. And people had like, they've adopted that nomenclature to refer, and even the whole shitcoin thing. So there's like Bitcoin and then everything else.
Yeah.
Which is very short-sighted to assume that Bitcoin like is in its own category. It just was the first one. It was the AOL. I mean, it was the MySpace or the Friendster, if you're even old enough to remember before MySpace.
I love MySpace.
I mean, there's certain parts of it too that, like, I mean, if you're kind of looking at how the market's moving, what do we look at?
Shit, guys, I found Satoshi. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Island Stephanie is Satoshi.
Oh, that's what it is. Hey, can I speak to all the things you guys have been talking about?
Absolutely.
Okay, so marketing, community, who's involved, who's the person. So this all goes back to the culture of memes. Because what I'm seeing in memes is that, first of all the projects that are building that are actually with utility are able to try on whether their utility works. Get people, all the meme tokens found Tipper on Stone Space. So, I'm signed up for Tipper on my NFTs. That means if you own one of my NFTs, which most of you do here, I know you do, you can just go to Tipper every day. And if you create a trust line to the Blue Umbrella token, you can get Blue Umbrella tokens just delivered into your little wallet there every single day. So now Tipper is being heard by all these things. And then you learn, Tipper has a bunch of faucets. So if you put it in the AMM, so now you have motivation to go to learn about the AMMs. How do I put my tokens into the AM? What does that even look like? How much do I want to do? What does an LP token stand for? Oh, it means liquidity pool, because an AMM and a liquidity pool are the same thing. Oh, who did it? I didn't know that. And so it's this cycle of like information that allows people to like lightheartedly learn about order books, learn about AMMs, learn about Tipper, learn about Fusion. Where Fusion, they have a validator. So essentially you sign up, you create a page, and you get validated by other human beings. So they're trying to bring in the humanity aspect. So you're not a bot. It's a different KYC. Essentially it's like, I had a conversation with this person. I know who they are. And by the way, you can all go and validate the Blue Umbrella token on Fusion. That would be super nice. Then you have the XRP.cafe. You have people making NFTs, and now you have people talking about, how am I going to use these NFTs as a utility? First step, Tipper. Then now it's all of a sudden randomly a utility. My NFTs are now a utility in some weird backwards world. And then you have Niall creating I Am Universe TV, where he's trying, he just put out a post about, do we want a channel about XRP? Yes, please. Have Molly, yes, Linda, Keda, dip a toe, everybody, Maia and Fruition Productions, like all of us will be featured on I Am Universe TV. But his real main thing is about music. Oh, wouldn't it be nice if we could make videos and go to Niall's music channel and pay, a 0.000001 of an XRP every time somebody plays our video with that person's music on it, instead of this weird thing where I put music on a video and it says, sorry, copyright, you can't share music with people. That's BS, by the way. And so then you have that. And then you have the Reaper crew. So I sent out a message 3 days ago. So somebody had posted a very compact explanation of Reaper. And I forwarded to everybody I know in the meme crew that I have connected with. And I said, if you don't know about Reaper yet, you need to get on this train. Because, with gold, silver, ascension, arc, pillars, grim, all of a sudden you have an entire ecosystem that gives you passive income and burns your debt. If you, this is the thing, these meme people, they're going to find those tokens really soon.
Yeah,
and
you're
they're
right.
going to get in because they're going to see that, yeah, these memes are fun. It's fun to play. It's fun to say, you know what, I'm going to put 2 in. And if it comes back as 6, I'm going to take 2 out. I'm going to leave the rest there and see what happens. That's fun. And, don't get me wrong, that's gambling. It's all gambling. However, I know memes right now, like my meme is not necessarily a meme. I mean, it's a meme to everybody because it's a cool picture and whatever. But it's utility, my plan is a utility token. And what I'm noticing is that's, there's Lyft. Lyft wants to onboard tradespeople into the XRPL. So he's talking about certification, Lyft certification. And his is, his image is a forklift. Then you have Alex, and Alex is this guy who's, one of the most incredible minds. He's been on the XRPL for 4 years. He hand draws all of his images. So now you're going to have an aspect of is this a hand drawn image or is this an AI image? And so you're going to have this quality control around what is value. What is value? And so, then you have Illy, who, I connected him right away. Didn't know that this guy was this guy. He actually created X-Men. Well, and he has a tagline, Heroes Unite. And so there's this whole idea that the heroes are coming to the XRPL, and together we're going to be able to create this beautiful world. And they have 3 spaces a day. And then you have, do you know what I mean? So there's just so much going on that is creating this culture that is hey, I'm this person. I am me. And I have shared my story and I am authentic, and you can look on the internet. If you go to me, I'm a KYC'd on everything. I've basically been sharing my story for 20 years. And all of a sudden you're oh, that's a real person with a real life who has not done anything nefarious in your whole life. Oh, I would love to invest in her. I see that she has a future, that she sees the same thing. Oh, X-Men. Oh, Alex. Oh, all these different ones. There's Barber, he's been around. And then there's the OGs like XR Doge and Zoj and I'm missing one, Schmeckles, and people who've been building on the blockchain, trying to create Zoj is on a whole bunch of blockchains. So he's the guy that you go, hey, so how do I do this on a whole bunch of blockchains? And so what is happening is that this culture and the advertisement is that each person is a bridge, and they're a bridge to certain people. And, this is why I think I just get to the point where there's so much drama that happens because, when you get a group of people together, there's drama. And so I'm always if you're not doing the delete stuff, if you're not hurting babies and children and being part of that whole culture, so what if we don't get along? And I think that, you go do your thing, I'm going to do my thing, but I know you're a bridge. I know there are people that are going to be drawn to you, and that we as human beings are such multifaceted individuals that by allowing this, or don't panic, it's organic. What I'm seeing is that it's all in divine timing. And I keep bringing it up. I'm sorry, Maia left. But I keep bringing it up to them that if we didn't know them, if we hadn't been following their story for 11 months, we would think that this was planned, that this was the white hat plan to get the movie out at exactly the right time.
Speculate that. You would speculate that, wouldn't you? Because the timing is divine. The timing that they came out with the movie and the end of the lawsuit and all of this stuff happening, and the price appreciation is just kind of a a coinky dink of time. What I
Well,
hear
you said earlier,
saying,
God's plan, right? God's
it
plan.
is God's plan. What I hear you
I gotta
saying,
go. Thank you so much. I've got to move on, but thank you, ladies. It was great to be with you. Hope you have
Thanks
a
so
great
much for being here.
have a good rest of your night,
Hey, it
Linda.
was good to
Thanks
meet
so
you.
much.
Have a good night.
Thank you,
Nice to
Linda.
meet you.
Thank you again for being here.
So what I hear you saying, Amanda, is all of the stuff that's being built on the XRP, like all of the things that you just mentioned for those that are listening, those are all in the XRP ledger. Those are all people that are bringing value to the XRP ledger that are making a difference with, you know, how you're talking about like being verified that you're a person. You know, we are transitioning to a time where we are going to be on the blockchain. And I mean, Molly, you've talked about this before, like we're kind of going into this futuristic world, right? Where, you know, if you think about yourself as being in like part of a video game, what's your analogy with the video? Like we are going to be in the video game. Like we're going to be watched in the video game with all of this stuff that's happening, right? Like we're like the reality stars of the video game. But it's like it's value. It's adding value to the XRP ledger, and it's happening before our eyes. And it's like, I don't know if people wrap their mind around what's happening really. It's not just a token that you're buying when you buy XRP or whatever, any of these projects really. There's so much more involved that's going on. And so like what Linda was saying earlier, this is not your grandma's asset that you're buying. This is a whole new world. Like this is you're going to buy your freaking avatar. Like what is the, like Tiara, like the freedom of the protectors of the universe or whatever. Like they're like,
Frequency.
I'm associating myself with the frequency, the protector of the frequency, right? Forevermore will be free. Melissa is going to be associated on the freaking blockchain with this, right? These are like monumental things that are happening right now. And so when we talk about price of XRP, people are like, well, how much do you think it's going to be? Well, I don't freaking know, because I've never seen anything like this in my life. Right. So like the sky's the limit, right? I mean, how much do we want it to go to?
One thing I want to qualify on this is as we get into the discussion of like how much could the market price of XRP be? Let's remember that the US dollar that we have had our whole lives has been kind of pumped via inflation. So like what you could buy with $1 20 years ago is not even close to what you could buy today. So when you talk about $1 million XRP, that seems like a lot because to us, $1 million is a lot of money. But, you know, 20 years ago, $1,000 was a lot of money. You could buy like a pretty nice car with $1,000 and like you can't do that at all. So be careful. So one thing, I had this conversation with Jimmy the other day, like with these pumps in prices, is XRP actually going up or is the dollar just going down?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing about Forex and all these currency changes, that they're all relative.
I think it's both.
Say what? Say what?
This is why people love gold, is like you need like a fixed point of something that all these other things can be measured relative against. And the dollar for so long was that fixed point that every other currency was valued relative to the dollar because you need that. But as we see the Federal Reserve note, formerly referred to as the US dollar, hyperinflate, this is why I think we're going to return to the gold standard. Judy Shelton, I'm a big fan of her work. Like this idea, because gold has been money since the beginning of time. So if gold becomes like the fixed point, then you can measure everything else relative to gold. So when we have talked about XRP, not necessarily being gold backed, but like being priced relative to gold, that is under the assumption that these fiat currencies that are being hyperinflated out of existence are going, we're going to see pricing relative to some other asset. Because here's the thing, is that the US debt, which is really this Federal Reserve dollar debt that is unsustainable and not able to be paid back, there will be no big deal if you hyperinflated the dollar so that like $1 million was nothing, $1 trillion was nothing, you could pay off that debt really quickly and kind of like start over fresh with a bunch of new ledgers. So I would be, and I've had this conversation with traditional finance people who have so much money in like US dollar treasury bonds. I'm like, are you serious? Because the debt, if you have a lot of treasuries, the debt thing is a problem. And the only real logical way to get rid of that, you don't want to screw everybody over who has, I mean, I guess you would be if you hyperinflated the dollar, but if you made that debt not a big deal, that problem just goes away.
Zimbabwe.
I was just going to add, I mean, we need to get out of this. It's an altcoin type mentality. We just need XRP to be seen for what it is, as a tier 1 asset, as something that can be utilized in the technology and store of value and use case for it and everything all combined together, and then it will start being evaluated correctly the way it should be.
But I think that that's all very strategic. You know what I mean? As we have seen,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? We're starting to see now that those people that were outliers that didn't necessarily agree with the valuation of what XRP can and will do, now they're seeing that there is utility. They're seeing that there is price movement. And the crazy thing about it is that you still have people that are naysayers, and you still have people that bring up the first thing that they want to say is, well, market cap says that. And I'm like, how are you bringing up market cap for something that has never happened yet?
Right.
I just call them all NPCs when they say that.
You call them what?
I call them all NPCs when they say that type of thing.
What's that mean?
It's a non-player character. It's like in a video game, like the extra people.
I'm not a gamer, but learn something. See,
but it basically is a person that doesn't understand what the heck they're talking about, and they're out there just making it seem like they do.
It's a really nice way.
Right? That's the thing. This is
hear more about that.
I mean, I know it's been around for over a decade, but really we are in a new space, right? So like, how do we evaluate it? How do we use it? All these, I think we're watching ourselves figure it out now.
We totally are.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. And the thing is that, I think it goes back to what I had said earlier on in the conversation. When you think about it from it's an actual token that transmits value, exchanges value. And when you can sit there and think about what value means and what value can be, that's when it starts to make your mind go into other places, because you're like, geez, it's endless when it comes to value. You know what I mean? What is value? And of course, we choose what the value is of something. You know what I mean? So it's only as far as the brain can go to figure out what something is of value, what the value is of something. You know what I mean? And if you think about it from that vantage point, the actual possibilities are endless. You know what I mean? When you think about that.
And it's so much more than just cross currency, right? It's the value that I can hold my own assets. I can transact without a central authority's permission. Right. Like all that wrapped together it's worth its weight in gold compared to our current system.
Gold, platinum, iridium, all of these different precious metals that are out there that is worth more than gold, because there are metals that are worth more than gold, and that would have to be evaluated as well. So you know what I mean? Like my brain, I'm sorry, I'm a Sag, and as a Sagittarius, my brain goes in about 1,000 different directions all at
Happy
one
birthday.
time. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, happy birthday. Is today your birthday?
On the 11th. On the 11th.
Happy birthday early.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, so it's a good
I want to say goodbye to Crypto Queen for coming to the show. Thank you. Hopefully one of these days we'll have Crypto Queen on the Dip a Toe show to join us. But
Melissa,
yeah,
can I answer a question that was in the chat?
Yes.
Let's
Which
go.
one? Is it the
So
one I have up on the
Envoy-
thing?
Yes.
Envoy. Yes.
I would like to state that almost all taxation is theft, and it is unlawful. I am quite optimistic that income tax will go away, as will property tax. And my stance on that, particularly with the federal government, is like, if you can show me where all this money actually went, not your bullshit budget, which is where you're pretending it's going to go, then we can have a discussion about me giving you more money. Because the funny thing is the federal government is a corporation. And if you've ever worked at a company, can you imagine working at a company and let's say you're head of a department, like you're head of the marketing department, and you go to the finance guy and you're like, I want $1 million to run a bunch of ads. And it gives you $1 million. And at the end of the year, he's like, all right, what'd you spend the money on? Could you imagine being like, I'm not going to tell you. And now I want $2 million.
Right. Give me more.
They would never do that. Like they would be like, fuck you, you're fired, get out of here. So the idea that we do this with taxes, where we just give the federal government all this money, they print a whole bunch of it. We don't really know where it goes. And everybody's supposed to be like, oh, it went to the right place. Like you should just trust them. So until that craziness goes away, I think the whole tax system should be, we need to all be more vocal about where are these tax dollars going. And if you want more money, I need to see itemized receipts of where every dollar went. That was the beauty about FTX, as much of a shit show that was, is we found out that the money was being funneled to Ukraine, deposited into FTX, and going to these politicians. They were like, the whole money laundering thing was exposed. So until we are clear that that kind of thing is not happening anymore, I think we need to make a bigger deal out of taxes, specifically federal taxes.
Funny, I heard there's this ledger where they can move lots of money and you can like have this KYC and see who it is and what they're doing with every single penny that they're doing. Yeah, and I wanted to speak to a few things about that. One, what you were talking about earlier about the gold standard. I think a lot of people don't realize that, like, you know, what a gold bar could buy 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, it can still buy that today. That's what they talk about in terms of like, you know, is the dollar going down? And I totally agree with you. When I was looking at that chart today, I was like, oh, that's what I'm seeing. And because I recognize, because I lived in Zimbabwe when that was happening, and I lived in France, and like, you know, I studied the wars. Like that was my big thing when I was a kid. I just was so fascinated with war, and I lived in France and I lived in Japan. And so I saw this, like what happened 40 years after the war, 50 years after the war, 60 years after the war, and what caused it. Because you know, I've been like a peacemaker since I was a little kid, and I want to know how the hell to not make it happen. And so when I'm watching, you know, over the past 4 years and just watching this happen and being like, whoa, this is exactly what happened in World War II, and this is exactly what happened in World War I, and this is exactly what happened in, you know, I mean, I hate to say it, but like, you know, things like Rwanda and, you know, Kosovo, and like, you know, the propaganda and the, you know, trying to hate each other and trying to build this divide between the people. You know, it's always been make it so that the people fight with each other so that we can steal the land and the resources. And so watching this happen, pardon, it's very effective.
It's effective.
Yeah. And then all the money gets funneled into people making bombs, and presto, it's all funneled back up to the top, you know? And so for me, this is where all of this gets so exciting for me in a way, because I feel like that's their plan. That's their MO. Like that's what they know. That's what they run on. They run on fear and demoralization. They run on fun, not fun. They run on you know, manipulation of the mind, believing that people are out to get you so that you are scared and that you just comply with their bullshit in whatever capacity that is. And ultimately, and that's why the only way out is through, is because each person breaking that mold in their own minds, being like, you know what, like, okay, yes, all this shit is real. All this insanity that we're seeing is real. And yes, hyperinflation is real. And yes, exactly like Molly said, like we're at like, the Americans are at like, what, 33 trillion right now? You know, if the price, right? Am I right? 33 trillion on the US debt clock?
I've lost count. They don't care. It's just so much.
It's over. 36 trillion.
36? Okay.
Yeah.
And so, seeing that happen, recognizing that, like, yeah, exactly. If you increase the value or the amount in circulation, all of a sudden 33 trillion ain't not nothing. If in Zimbabwe at one point, $1 was $1 trillion. So imagine you went to a loaf of bread. You're going to get a loaf of bread and it costs $66 trillion. That's what hyperinflation actually looks like. And so, how do you pull back from that? And that's why I think, like, it's funny because you're talking about the altcoin season. Molly, you said that, right? Because I'm not a Bitcoin person, I was like, oh yeah, it's the meme coin season. I was like, XRP is the main staple. XLRP and XLM are the main ones. And, all the people building on the XRPL and building on the Stellar Ledger are the altcoins. That's the world I live in.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
I do.
You just connected for me because I've been seeing this a lot on X. XRP is not a meme coin. And the reason they're saying that is exactly what you just brought up. Because there's the Bitcoin thing and then there's the meme season. And so, that's XRP. So you're saying XRP is not a meme coin? That is exactly why they're saying, I get it now. You gave me a eureka moment, Amanda. Huh? Oh,
yeah, that's pretty much all I was gonna say. And I think that, ultimately what we're seeing is people, Jay always says it. It's like the dream, right? It's like crypto allows people to dream again. And when you're sitting here thinking, what happens if those two turn into $1,000? What happens if they turn into $2,000? Or $10,000? What happens if they turn into $100,000? How much do my tokens have to turn into for me to be able to buy my house? How much do they have to turn into for me to buy my farm? How much do they have to turn into for me to help my best friend over here get their farm? And then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, the sky is the limit. And, it's like, for me, the biggest thing about the XRPL is, well, first of all, Bitcoin, you can mine and therefore it costs so much energy to, you're just like, running these huge systems so you can get your one Bitcoin, whatever. So the energy consumption and, we're already, having brownouts and blackouts in countries. And so all of a sudden you're consuming so much with electrical vehicles and trying to get more of your Bitcoin. So that's the one thing. And then you can actually, add more and add more and add more. Where with XRP, you can't. And so I think of 7 generations from now. And I think if this is deflationary, if every single meme coin that's made burns 100 XRP right now, are you kidding me? If every single joke burns 100, and then if every single real one burns 100, and then if every transaction right now, it's like, thank gosh it's dropped, which is a beautiful thing. But, I was doing something last week and it was like still 2 to make an NFT or something like, I can't remember exactly what it was. It was 2 and I had to burn 2. And I was like, whoa, that's surprising because it was like the day after the 0.2 change. And, when you start thinking about how things are burned and what this looks like, how many XRP will be left in 7 generations? 5 generations, 3 generations, 1 generation.
I don't think we're going to have money in 7 generations.
You brought that. So I have a question about, what do you think about the volatility? Like how we go from here to there? What do you all think about that?
Before you answer that, I just want to say Bitcoin just hit 100,000.
Nice. Good job. That's awesome.
Let's go.
What? That's incredible. Thank you, Lady K.
100,000 awesome to hear.
No, we did the Humpty Hump.
I wonder if Boss Trader actually did his video because I know that he was doing lives, watching it. Oh my gosh.
It's important.
Oh, it's so cool.
I appreciate that you brought that to the Dip and Toe show.
It's volatile though. It's glitching between 99 and 100 on my screen now. How's it looking for you guys?
I knew it was going to happen. There was all these spaces tonight about it. I'm like, how do you know that's going to happen tonight? Apparently they did.
Someone can make it happen. All right, getting back to Kellie's question, which was again what? What do I think about?
What do we think about this? Like how volatile it is right now. Like where we can go up, 50%, down 30%. Like we're here, there, and everywhere. Like, what do you guys think about that? Do you think that is, Well, I mean, I guess I'm not going to project. What do you guys think about that?
Are you talking about XRP being volatile specifically?
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I guess, well, yes, specifically. And then also, but also the blockchain crypto, place like in a whole too.
The question, I mean, this is my view, is that it's volatile because we're constantly doing these relative comparisons. So if you lived in a world where everybody
talking about in general or XRP specific right now?
I'm just saying the whole Forex, like the currency world, is the prices are relative, right? But if you lived in let's say you lived in a town where everybody only used XRP and everybody paid for everything in XRP, there would be no volatility because the only volatility comes from you comparing one thing to a different currency. And right now, everything's getting priced still relative to the dollar. So it brings up this question: what's really volatile? Is it XRP or is it the dollar? I mean,
okay, Molly, there you go.
This comes up with gold. Like, the gold price is, messed with. And, JP Morgan has been doing all these naked shorts with gold forever. And the gold price has been suppressed and volatile. Why would you go to such lengths to do that unless you were trying to protect the perception that the dollar is a stable coin? That's the other clever marketing label, this stable coin idea, and the dollar being like the definitive stable coin, when ironically, it's not stable at all. It's been inflationary for generations, and it's losing value pretty rapidly. So, Kellie, I think you bring up a great question, but I think it's complicated because of the dollar and the dollar's steady loss in value in every other currency, including cryptos, being priced relative to the dollar.
I think so, Molly. And I think to really look at what you're saying, right? And take that into perspective. Like that's
this is where the store of value bet comes in. Like, what do you think 10 years from now is going to be a place where people store value? It ain't going to be the dollar, in my opinion, unless the dollar becomes gold back, which actually could happen.
Shouldn't be. It shouldn't be either. When you look at the world economy, I mean, I don't know. I'm probably overstepping my background or my education level, but here's just my layman thoughts on this. With as far as the world goes, like the dollar has dominated the world for so long. Countries that didn't have their own currency use the dollar, and other countries that have their own currencies are forced to use the dollar and have been ruled upon, for forever. Like, it creates war, it creates all kinds of stuff. And so when I think of having the opportunity to have an avenue where countries can have their own currencies and transact, the dollar is just going to be us. Like, we're going to use it. Maybe some other countries that don't have their own currency will still adopt the dollar or RLUSD, right? And like, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but I just had a brain fart, ladies.
I agree with you that each country should have its own sovereign currency and use that within the nation. Yeah. And XRP will be used for countries to transfer value to other countries. So there are 14 countries in Western Central Africa that use this currency called the CFA franc. It's issued by France and managed by France. And for up until like last year, these African countries had to put half of the amount of money they wanted minted into a reserve account. So if you wanted $1 billion worth of money in your country, you had to have $500 million worth of gold or something sitting in an account that the French would go and trade on their like shady market things and make money off of. And
kind of like they do with us, right? We put our money in the bank. They're doing all kinds of stuff. They're making money off of it. We don't get to do it. Or 401ks, whatever the hell. They say you're going to make X amount of dollars. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, they're using our money to make money for themselves and giving us hardly anything and telling us we got to pay freaking tax on it. Okay. Sorry. Carry on.
We're not even getting into the whole birth certificate thing.
Well, and Molly, I mean,
for another lady night.
Let's not forget, in relationship to what you're saying, the French don't use the franc. They're on the euro.
So
And
they
so
got
quite
switched.
literally,
Do
they
they
have
join
a
a
monopoly
corporation?
over their entire resource structure, and their resources that they're getting for their economy comes from these African countries. And that is where the shakeout is, because of my background's international development. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to work for the UN. I wanted to work for NATO. I wanted to be an ambassador of something to something. I thought, you got to be in the system to change it. Oh, thank God I failed. I just sat in my life, went a different avenue, and I didn't get involved. But, what we're seeing is the macro view of how, the cabals, the debt is to 12 families. And, what we're seeing is the light coming to the dark around the control mechanisms of these people who get paid for every dollar printed. And that, speak. What does it say? We can't see. I can't see.
It's already hit 101. It's
It's at
run,
101,
baby.
167. Yep.
Unbelievable.
That.
I mean, that's the thing, though. It's like people are talking all this stuff about Bitcoin, but how do we look at the markets too, right? It's the first one that we kind of go off of it. So I always want to say, I don't know. It's like, okay, we don't.
Stephanie made a good point. She says whales take from the green XRP, put in the red Bitcoin, drive up FOMO, then do it again the other way. So while everyone's FOMOing back into Bitcoin, they're buying the dip and going to do it again. And if that's one thing that I've learned about this, just even with day traders, I'm not a day trader. I don't want to play that game. I don't want to deal with the taxes. We just touched lightly on taxes. Yes, we think they're unconstitutional, whatever. But at the end of the day, right now, unless you're not filing a tax return, you better be keeping track about what you're buying and selling, your fair market value or your cost basis for these items in the event that you file a tax return and you don't provide enough information, or you screw up and you put the wrong thing on there, or you give too much information and you get audited. You need to be able to defend yourself. You need to have a reasonable thought process in how you valued and whether you decided whether you had a gain or a loss or whatever, whether you claimed it or not. Like, hey, I had a loss for the whole time. It's like you go to the casino, right? Technically, when you go to the casino, you're supposed to claim every freaking thing, whether you get a 1099 or not, right? Well, if you get enough stuff to offset it, it's zero. You don't report it. You got zero gain or whatever. But the minute that you don't have a loss to offset, you're going to be paying tax on that, right? So operate in the fashion of cover your own ass, keep track, be like condescending. I don't know how you say that, or like recognize what you're doing when you're doing, mindful of what you're doing, keep track of it. So in the event that you need to defend yourself, you can. Now, will Trump make this tax free? Maybe he might. He says he's going to do it. Just cover your own ass until that happens, right? Just mentally cover your own ass. Not saying you have to do it. Not saying you have to file a tax return. Not saying any of that. Not financial advice, because this is Dip a Toe Show. We're just talking our opinions. But I'm just saying, cover your own ass. That's all.
Well, in Canada, they want to tax us 60% on capital gains.
I've heard.
Ridiculous.
And so, yeah, like essentially, I mean, it's just blatantly obvious that they don't want us to succeed, and ultimately, I think, yep.
It's blatantly honest that they know where this is going and they want their piece. That's what's happening.
They're the mob. Organized crime.
Exactly. They really are. I mean,
the show's going to get taken off the air.
They've literally seen where this is going. And if they didn't, they wouldn't be trying to control it so hardcore.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be going after it the way that they are. They wouldn't be trying to keep people out of it. Right now, the way that the price is moving, they're pricing people out that did not get it for pennies on the dollar, because a dollar is a psychological point when it comes to investing. The minute that it went over a dollar, there were at least 40 to 50 people that would be priced out because they just felt like that's more money than they're willing to spend. regardless of whether or not this investment can make their lives something that they never thought it could be.
So right. You're so right. You know, we have 10 minutes left before the end. We can talk about whatever we want. The one thing like that was popping in my head as you were talking, it's like there are so many opportunities for people to get involved. And there's so many things happening with legislation that are gonna make changes in the ways that we invest in that. And today I was listening to a one of the hearings where they were discussing the accredited investor status, you know, whether somebody should be allowed to invest in a certain project or company or whatever, because, you know, unless you're accredited, you're stupid, that sort of thing. And so there's like people that are for that, against that, and all of that stuff. And all I can say to the people that are listening right now is your opportunity right now to get into these things, educate yourself, do your due diligence, spend your time wisely, because the window is closing. When they actually do have these legislations in place and there is clarity, you're going to be locked into operating under which those guidelines are, right? Right now, it's kind of like, well, I didn't know. We thought it was this, but, you know, blah, blah, blah. Once it's all nailed down, then you got to do it the way that they say. And right now, while there's all these prices are very low, and $2.50 for an XRP is nothing compared to what the price, in my opinion, is going to be in the future. Is it going to be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road? I don't freaking know. But if you want to give your grandkids or your great grandkids a really great gift 20 years from now, freaking buy them a little bag of XRP and forget about it. You know what I'm saying? Or any of these assets that you do your due diligence on and look. But I just wondered what you guys think going forward with the climate, the way that it is, knowing what we know. You can see all of these senators in there. We got a pro crypto president coming in, a pro crypto administration. They've got their men in place, their women in place, their plan in place. They're ready to execute on freaking day one. Where do you think this is going to take us?
So I do want to comment on the accredited investor thing. So in case anyone has ever asked for a point of view on this, the whole thing should go away, because we do not need the permission of the government to do anything. Government was not created to tell me what I can and cannot do. They are mostly less educated and less intelligent than all of us. And so for them to have this authoritarian role over what I invest my money in is ridiculous. So instead of revising the accredited investor criteria, it should just be eliminated completely.
I concur.
It was really designed to keep poor people out of the high yield private equity world, unfortunately.
I mean, it's really crappy when you think about it. It like you hear. So I grew up poor, right? I grew up on welfare. I grew up around poor people, and you know, you always hear the rich get richer, and they hate rich people, right? We didn't like it. We were trained to like not like people that had money or people that had more than us, right? And as I've grown and evolved in my life, and I've met a lot of wonderful, beautiful people, it's not the people that have the money so much, right? It's just like the injustice of the system, the way that it is. It's very frustrating. And what I've done my whole life is just fight back, right? Fight back, educate yourself, put yourself in the circles of people that can change your life and inspire you, you know. Look around. If you've got friends masquerading as your friend and they're distracting you from a goal, get rid of them. They're not good for you, right? If they're not putting you on the path that you need to go or walking with you on the path that you need to go and you're struggling, get rid of them, cut them loose. This is how I've lived my life. This is how I came to be meeting all of you people, right? I could have very easily stayed in the way I was brought up in around those people. And not to say that those people are bad. I love them dearly. They just don't see outside of the box. They don't look outside of the box. They're too scared, and they want to blame other people that have a lot of money. But I do think when you start digging into it, you see the system, there is the unfair advantage to people that have money, allowing them to invest in certain projects when you or I, for example, you know, we know companies like Ripple, for example, are doing great things. And if I wanted to buy into Ripple, I'm not an accredited investor. Now, I know that companies like Link2 and there's other companies where you can get into a pool and you can try, you know, you can get into it in a different way. Not anymore. See, not anymore. But they were trying to help people that were like me. And so unless you're really diligent about it and you take a test or you do whatever to get yourself to become an accredited investor, and then there's a whole nother set of rules of whether you're working for somebody and all this kind of stuff, it makes it very complicated to when you got somebody like myself who studies up on something, but I'm not an accredited investor, so I can't participate. And it does piss you off. However, the crypto space right now, this is what I want to say. There's 1,576 people listening, and I'm willing to bet that there is about 5 people from my Facebook that haven't given me the time of day in the past 5-6 years. They're finally starting to ask me some questions, and I just want to beg you. I want to inspire you. I want to tell you, this is your opportunity to fight back. Someone actually got mad at me on Facebook for suggesting that if people were giving their attention because they were talking about how bad it's going to be, how bad the economy is going to be in the future, in the coming year. And most of them believe it's because Trump is been elected president. Okay. Doesn't matter who's president. If you think that the economy is going to be bad, the economy's already bad, right? You have an opportunity in front of you right now. If you give your time and you look into something like XRP, XLM, Hedera, I mean, there's a whole bunch of them. Not financial advice. You got to do your own due diligence on it. This is the only time in your life, in my opinion, that you're going to be able to get into something that is going to make life-changing wealth for you, potentially for your family. So, drop mic.
There you go. I feel like I just want to chime in too.
Do it.
Going off of what you said, Melissa. But if you are watching and you have, or you are on Facebook with Melissa, you're here for a reason. And so look into it more. There's no right answer. There's no one answer. But if you're here, then ask questions. There's so many people out there that are willing to listen and help. And if they don't know, they can give assistance. But if you're here and you haven't heard of it, but you're here for some reason, take a look. That's all.
Take a look. Dip a little bit. I mean, actually, if you're here to the end of the show, I'm very proud of you. I guess I was a little bit aggressive in my statements, and I apologize. I'm excited.
Passion, Melissa, passion.
There we go.
I am passionate because, and I don't know about you all, but in the last 2 weeks is the first time that I started having people messaging me that I haven't talked to in years. And in fact, I said this on the last show, I think, my ex-boyfriend, my very first boyfriend, my love of my life, my very first boyfriend that I ever had, very innocent relationship, best first boyfriend I could have ever had. He actually didn't know he was listening to me. He messaged me and said, you're a crypto expert, which I'm not. What are your thoughts on XRP? And I'm like, pull the plug, bro. I was an expert. I'm not gonna. So he bought it before it did the run up. before it did.
Oh,
Praise
that's
God.
Oh,
Praise
that's
God.
awesome.
So it was
good.
still like
That's
50
good.
cents, 59 cents or something like that.
That's
So
so
good for
good.
him. And, you know, so I started
Good job.
having some other people on Facebook, and now they're being a little aggressive, and some people are, you know, it doesn't matter. The fact is people are starting to listen a little bit. And so I just wonder from you ladies, like, are you getting a bunch of people like
Yeah.
asking you questions now where
Yeah.
they were ignoring you before?
Yeah.
You're like, should
I
I buy
definitely
it?
have.
And I said, well,
I don't wanna
that's
tell ya.
your choice. That's your choice. And also, if you're gonna be buying it after it just went up this much, like without knowing what the future is, I mean, maybe we do, maybe we don't. But if you want to hold it longer, then that's like, in my opinion, then that's more like it's a. How do I say? Does anyone understand what I'm saying? Like, longer you hold it, then yeah. Like, if you're trying to make a quick buck, I mean, yeah, maybe you can. But if you really want to gain stuff from that, then as long as you're willing to hold, yeah, absolutely.
Well,
You have
I'm
to do
gonna
your
be
own
honest.
research.
I'm gonna be honest
Yeah.
with you. I definitely did tell people in the beginning. And you know, I had friends that they just are not versed. They're just not versed in this. They're not really trying to be versed in it like that. Not saying that they're sheep. That's not what I'm saying at all. This is out of their purview. Totally understandable.
I get it.
And for me, I looked at it in this instance. If I know what this is, my peoples you know, I'm like, yo, you're my day ones. I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and gift you
Same.
because I'm not gonna don't come to me later. I just here you go. Just take it and do me a favor and get a cold wallet. That's all I'm gonna ask you to do. Get a cold wallet, I'll get you. You know what I mean? And that way that alleviates any type of responsibility that I felt like I may have had. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I have had people that have come to me and asked me questions. You know, it's not for me to say, hey, maybe you should have thought about that when I spoke about it before. That's not for me to say. I'm not petty like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I have made a meme, however.
I might have made a meme. I'm just saying.
It's I told you so season, ladies.
What the meme
It's I
say?
told you so
Hey,
season.
What the meme
if
say?
if I told no, it's just a face. And literally the face is if I told you so was a person, that would be the face. It would be the face that I made. And literally when sometimes depending on the person, if they contact me asking me about it, I'm gonna send that picture just because.
I love it. I want to go around the room with final thoughts because now we're like a couple of minutes past what I thought we were going to be. I want to say like thank you guys for coming. I hope that we can do this again. This has been a fantastic conversation. I want to thank Linda P. Jones for coming to the show and Maia from Fruition Films. Who else? Brooke, Odyssey. For coming to the show. I think, are we missing anybody else? I think we got 1, 2, 3, 4. I think those are the 3. Thank those ladies for coming. All of the people that are listening right now, 1,635 people. I think this is the highest view count for our show of simultaneous listeners ever. So thank you. If you wouldn't mind to please follow our show at Dip a Toe. We're at Dip a Toe on Rumble and YouTube and at Dip a Toe Show on X. Hit the like, put some comments in there, like help our channel grow. It would really mean a lot to me and I really appreciate it. Thank you to all the people that are in the chat. There's so many of you, I can't name it all, but you know who you are that come here every week. We love you and we appreciate you on the Dip a Toe Show. And we love Simon. As many of you know, he is working the nights. So I continue to do this show on Wednesdays live myself. he'll do a follow-up show of this on Thursday. So you will get to see his cute little face. And, you know, I just want to say thank you so much. And final thoughts, starting with Molly, and go around the room, and then we'll take her out.
This was fun. It's fun to be on this while we're part of this Bitcoin to 100,000 thing. I'm not a huge Bitcoin person, as we discussed, but
it's monumental, though.
Good momentum for the market, and you know the altcoins will follow generally. But it's exciting to watch the exodus from the fiat currency systems into crypto, including Bitcoin. So thank you for having me on, Melissa. It was great to chat with all these wonderful ladies and have a fun night here with y'all.
Thank you so much. Keda, final thoughts.
First off, I want to thank everybody that has been here on the show with us tonight. It has been an absolute pleasure to have these conversations with you. As always, Molly, it's great to see you. Next time I'm in Vegas this next year, I am going. So definitely I'll be there earlier so that we can hang out.
Sure.
We're throwing a pre-party, by the way, yes, for those of you that don't know. There will be a pre-party on Thursday. Again, it's in the works right now as we speak.
So just to kind of give everybody the hope, we are starting to really see what XRP can do and will do. So I need for you all to, one, not get geeked out completely, because I know when you start looking at your decents and your cold wallets and you're starting to see things go up exponentially and see that 500 and 600%, and you're like, ha! Yeah, just bring it in. Hold on.
Bring it on in.
Bring it in. Okay.
Have a plan.
And don't get itchy fingers. Okay? Don't get itchy fingers. Because see, what had happened was, y'all see them zeros? That's why I said do the math. Because if you do the math, then you won't be so surprised by what's happening in your wallet.
Right.
So just take your time. Really start to think. Don't let the base or the emotions start to move your hand when it comes to seeing that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Because it's the quickest way to lose it. Okay. And I have to say, I hope to see you all next week. And I hope that it's going to be just an amazing rest of this December. Who knows what will happen before the beginning of the year.
Amen to that. Right. Thank you so much. Miss Kellie, final thoughts.
Well, thank you for having me. It was a good little experience for me being on camera, so I appreciate that. It's so funny, right? Because I'm just looking at a freaking computer screen. Yet, like what it does. It takes some like, come on here. Let's do something about this.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Molly. Anyways, so what's my final thoughts? Damn. Live our lives. If you want to learn, go ask questions. If you want to invest, go invest. Don't invest more than you can't lose.
Good point.
Keep on rocking in the free world.
Huh?
I don't know.
Huh?
That's it.
Good job, Kellie. Lady K, final thoughts.
Oh, you're muted.
I love Lady K. Sure. Lady K is my best friend, by the way.
I love Kellie. I'm going to XRP Las Vegas the next one. So I hope to meet Melissa. I hope to see you again.
Amen. 100%.
Let's go.
I was going to say that. You took my I'm kidding. Final thoughts is I can't wait to see what happens next. I can't wait to see what happens in the first quarter of next year. So let's go.
Let's go. Thank you, Lady K. Thank you for coming on. I hope we'll have you come on again sometime. Miss Amanda, Optimistic Prime, what are your final thoughts?
Always have so many. Obviously, I'm just so happy to be here. I mean, it seems, it's all divine timing, the fact that we would have this night together and showcase the many different perspectives. You were talking earlier about the countries all having their sovereign money and, all their sovereign tokens and stuff. Well, like, I have a dream. And that dream is that I have a whole bunch of sovereign women and men that are using the XOM token in our, ecosystem of tiny home villages and homesteads, where you can travel wherever you want to and learn the things you want to and get the community that you want to. And I think that this is the evolution of humanity, is when you take the reins off, you take the suppression out, you free the patents and you free the copyrights and you free the people. The sky is the limit. If you are looking for help, there is a lot of scammers. And if you write anything on the internet and say, I need help, every single person responding is a bot. For those of you who are not, or who are new to all of this, if you get a message that says, please deposit, have you saved your money for the QFS? Here's where you put it. Do not send your money anywhere. If you need help and you've lost your money, don't answer somebody that says, oh, just put in your passphrase here and we'll help you out. These are telltale signs of imposters. I just did a feed on my X account this week on imposters. Molly has Molly 60 on that list?
I report
and
you all the time, Molly.
It's crazy.
You bought you.
Easy.
So please, please, please be careful. Follow the people who are in spaces. Follow real voices. Recognize that, this is a 0 point. This is a shift in everything from financial to spiritual to physical to everything. And that they don't want you to succeed. So just be very, very cautious about that. And because of that, I created the Blue Umbrella Bet. So if you need help right now, my entire Telegram, I'm going to shill right now. I'm not really good at it, but I am building stuff to help people. And there's not a lot out there. So I'm going to shill myself right now. If you go to Telegram, Blue Umbrella Bet, I'm still working out the welcome message and the bots and everything. You have to prove you're human and you have to accept the rules. So wherever they show up, find them, or you'll be kicked out of the Telegram within 24 hours. But essentially what I'm trying to create there is tutorials, limit orders, trust lines, AMMs. I have a list of tokens that the Blue Umbrella supports. Basically me. It's me going, I like this person. I think this utility is going to work. I think this guy who's building a bot right now that's going to be able to read people's wallets is going to be a big thing. And he has a meme token. Oh, this guy over here who's bringing in people, onboarding people. Oh, this utility token. So I have a whole list of those. I'm slowly getting at listing all of their websites and whatever. But right now I have all their issuer accounts. So at the very least, you can just copy and paste their issuer accounts, create a trust line and get their airdrops at the very least. But essentially, I'm trying to create the Blue Umbrella to be a place where you can come and get and know that you're not going to be spammed and scammed. And, I think truly, my end thoughts are, you matter. Those of you that are listening, you matter. Your story matters. Your being the hero of your own story matters. And the only way out is through. The only way that we win at this spiritual war is by you saying, I matter. And you do. And your dreams, the ripple effect, that's why the name Ripple is the most beautiful name, because your success in your passion and your dreams and the things that you thought of as a child before the whole world went and shat on everything. I live on a bus for 7 years, guys. Remember that. No doors for 7 years. And and remember that when you fight against every aspect of life, Molly's like, oh yeah, right.
I believe you. I just think it's funny.
Yeah, it is funny. It was supposed to be 3 months. Okay, 3 months, 7 years later. And just a reminder, my bus is made out of pallets and milk crates because that's how poor we are. So just remember that, I have never given up and I will never give up, because I know that the only way my children get to learn that they can follow their dreams is that I can't give up on mine and you can't give up on yours. And that is what the XRPL, that's what the ISO 20022 compliant tokens give people, is the ability to imagine a world where, what would you do with $1 million? You know, would you spend it all, or would you grow something? Would you believe in something? Would you grow a humanitarian project? Start building it now. And ultimately, I just want to thank you, Melissa. You are so special. And I am so thankful to be your friend. And I am so thankful that you have this. And, you know, the Dip a Toe show is going to go down in history. And I feel so privileged to be here. And I feel so privileged to be able to call you up at the end of this and be like, oh my gosh, that was the best show ever. And oh my gosh, I can't believe this is all happening right now. And so thank you so much, ladies. Thank you so much for all that you do in the space, for being the bridges. And I just can't wait to hang out with you guys again soon.
Thank you so much, my friend. That was wonderful. And our final Tiara. I'm saying it incorrectly.
Yeah, it's Tiara. You can all call me T if that's easier. I want to thank all you ladies. You've all been so inspiring, and I truly appreciate all the wisdom and knowledge that I've learned from you all. And if I could just say any last words, I would want to say to people, you know, knowledge is power. And to invest in yourself, to trust your own instincts, you know, and watch out for the scams and the distractions. We'll see, you know, Bitcoin going crazy prices. That's all a big distraction from the things that are of true value. Keep that in mind. There's a lot of manipulation going on, and the only real thing you can trust these days is your own heart. So let that lead the way, and it'll take you where you need to be.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Hey, Molly, can you, Melissa, can you get everybody to say what exactly their handles are so that Molly, like when people are looking for Molly Elmore, because it's like what, there's something, there's numbers afterwards?
Yes, let's do this. So before we sign off, everybody tell how they can find you on social media. Thank you for reminding me of that, Amanda. We'll start with the Molly. We'll go around the room if people want to find us on the YouTubes or the X and all these social media platforms.
I'm pretty much only using X these days. I still call it Twitter. Molly Elmore 22. And I will never DM you with any kind of scamming trading course. So please do not fall for that.
And she'll have like us as friends. So that's the other
She also
thing
has like a bunch of them right now that are popping up.
Oh,
like
it's ridiculous.
Or two.
It is.
Yeah.
That is, I will say, that's a good thing that you said this, Amanda, because there are so many imposters that are on Twitter all over the place, particularly with the uptick in XRP price. They're predators, you know, so be very skeptical. A lot of people do have the blue check marks. I know that not everybody can afford to have a blue check mark.
Some of the imposters have check marks.
Some of the imposters have check marks. So this is the way I do. I kind of verify. It's like, and this is why the more popular that influencers get, or I hate to use the word influencer, the more popular that people get that have large audiences, let's put it that way. If you're following someone, it's probably going to be a legitimate person, unless you're an account that does follow for follow. But most of the larger accounts, they have a small amount of people that they follow and then a whole bunch of followers on them. That's the way I'm gauging it right now. And then like what Optimistic Prime said is going into spaces and hearing people's voices, or if they have a YouTube or they have their own thing, you can see what their handle is right then that it's live and you saw them live and that's the handle that they're dropping. Because, you know, but at the end of the day, whether you like somebody or not and you're following somebody, don't ever send your money. Don't send your money. Don't send your seed phrases. Don't give them your social security number. Don't give them your phone number. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it. That's all. I mean, Keda, what's your handle?
So you can find me on X as Keda1211. And my show that I do on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time is Keeping It 100 with Keda and the crew with my lovely co-host, Miss Melissa, WorldBeFree. Um, so I do appreciate being here, and there's only one of me. So, and I will never ask you for anything. I will never, ever, 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 ever come into your DMs asking you for anything. So you see that, it ain't me.
Thank you, Keda. Kellie, how can people find you?
You can find me as Kellie with an IE, not a Y. Wiser bitches, watch out. Just kidding. I am KBuddy87, whatever. You can find me or not find me. But I would like to say we do karaoke on Saturdays, and it's
Yes,
really
we do.
fun. And it's usually like 8 Central Standard Time. Can change. But it's a lot of unprofessionals having fun. So you can find me there. Love you
I
guys.
love it.
Thanks,
yeah,
thanks
that's
for
gotta
having
be.
me, Melissa.
I am
It
so
was a
glad that you came.
Good
This
experience.
is so great.
It was really freaking nerve-wracking, and I really appreciate that I got to do it here with you.
I'm
did
so
amazing.
glad that you did. I'm gonna have you on again.
Oh, we'll see about that.
Yeah.
Love you.
Lady, can you repeat
I love
that,
you.
please? Can you repeat that, please, Kellie? KB Buddy. What is it? One more
Kellie
time.
with an IE, not a Y. Wiser bitches, watch out for that.
No, I heard that. I'm saying about the at, you pop.
Molly Elmore is signing off.
do
We
following
love you,
followers.
Bye,
Molly.
Molly.
Thank you for
Bye.
coming.
It's KBuddy87.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And practice makes perfect, Kellie. You're great.
Mine is Kristen Dack, and I did not create a Lady K token, so do not buy that.
Oh, geez, right? Someone paid homage and made a Lady K token. What the hell is going on, right?
I'd like to know who made it.
I mean, thanks, guys, but so crazy. You know you made it when
Sounds
they're
like a
making
Lady
a
H.
token. Huh?
Love you.
Thank you very much for coming. I appreciate it. So we said Kristen Dack. Is it DE or DA?
DACK. Kristen with an I, like Kellie.
Exactly, not an E.
Not
And
an
their
E.
bitches, watch out for them.
Optimistic, how can they find you?
Yeah, I'm this on everything except TikTok. I've lost 4 accounts on TikTok, so I'm Optimistic Prime 5.0.
With
No
the Y.
spaces.
With the Y.
No,
She
with
ain't
a
no
Y,
bitch.
with a Y, guys. Yeah, that's funny. Not with an I.
Oh,
Into the mystic.
shit, dude. You gotta change that.
That's no, because the eyes are the bitches.
I love it. I
Also,
love it.
Melissa has to change hers because she actually just changed it today. This is not not right anymore. Where crypto's not right. It's WorldBeFree.
Oh.
She's actually made them exactly the same. So for those of you who don't know that, otherwise I'm Optimistic Prime on every other page, and I also have an imposter on First Ledger for my token. So we're not on First Ledger. They will not list us yet. And I've responded on all the channels. Please put this as a scam token. They stole my image. They put it up there. And to be honest with you, because I don't ever show my shit, they're very similar in market cap right now, which is a really big pain in my butt. That's the name of my token, the butt. Okay. Anyways, yeah. Thanks so much for having me. They thought we were useless eaters, but little did they know we're going to change the world.
Thank you for coming, Optimistic. Tiara, how can they find you? How can they find you?
Follow my Twitter handle, Tiara X ARAIT, forward and backwards. I'm mostly on X anymore. I will never DM you, and I do have imposters also. They do block me, so I can't always see what's going on with that, so be careful. But yeah, follow me for, I share everything from educational stuff to important spaces, token giveaways, contests, artwork, fun stuff like that. So check it out.
Very cool. Thank you so much for coming. I would love to have all of you ladies come again on a ladies' night. I think I am going to start doing this on a semi-regular basis on the Dip a Toe show, at least until Simon comes back, because Simon's got a while to work, which is really good because the economy is picking up. And so he's working his butt off on the night shift and he's not able to go live. But I'm like super happy that you guys come and hang out with me. We have a couple. Oh, well, before I tell about the upcoming shows, Optimistic Prime inspired me. It told me that I needed to change my handle to WorldBeFree so people could find me easier. I concurred. I changed it today. I did not catch it on this live stream, which would have been smart. But now you can find me at WorldBeFree888 is my handle on X. And that is more appropriate. It will be easier for people to tag me. Apologize.
Say it again.
WorldBeFree. Hey. Huh? And
also, can you please? So Linda P. Jones is Linda P. Jones. Maia is a really messed up one. She's like X, a whole bunch of digits and X, and I can't find her. But Fruition_Films is Fruition Productions is one. Brooke is Unchained, also a whole bunch of numbers. But if you look up Unchained, it will show up and it'll say Brooke Unchained, so that you know that's
Brooke,
her.
Well, it says Brooke Odyssey.
Oh, Brooke Odyssey. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that covered the 3 that were gone, right?
Yep. Well, perfect. I want to thank everybody. We have 1697 people still watching, which is incredible. Please stay tuned to Dip a Toe. We're here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern we go usually until 10 o'clock. Kellie is going to pee her pants before the show is over. I'm almost sure of it. Next week, we have Niall on, who has created quite a project. We're really excited about it. Tiara is a representative, Lady K. Keda, are you in on this yet? The Niall's project? I think Optimistic Prime, and I think Kellie has the Protectors of the Universe.
Frequency.
It is.
We support independent music on the blockchain. So very exciting. I heard somebody spun a Lady K NFT today. That was cool.
Very sweet. Yeah. Well, Niall's
you're gonna have that, right?
They spun it, as in you mean they bought it?
Yeah, because what they did was they took our character and they made like 25 variations, and then they put them out there. So people are going to start getting our character. Yeah.
Oh, that's copycatted, Lady K?
What do you mean by spun? The real Katie.
What do you mean by spun?
Because you can't choose, you have to surprise box it and just mint one, and it gives you what it gives
I didn't know that.
Okay,
yeah.
So, you might
I need to go do mine.
Okay, got you.
We're going to get ours. We're going to have to go to Niall and get the one he created just for us, but it's going to be the rare one of the characters, and there's going to be I believe he said 25 variations of each.
I think you're right. And I saw Greg's Greg got his what was his 8 or 589. He did the random spin, and his was 589 was the one that he got, and he's like, how fitting and awesome is that? Yeah. So I'm excited to try mine. But so Niall will be here next week. That's an exciting show that I'm really looking forward to learning all about. The project. I think one of his partners is going to come on as well. And then the next week I have Vet coming on, and I am so excited. Vet is a validator on the XRP ledger. He's somebody that's in on the X accounts. He's just a wealth of information. He's a very patient positive human being that can explain to you all about the XRP ledger, why we get so excited about these things. He can clear up misconceptions about the ledger and the decentralization and all of that stuff when it comes to XRPL. And so I'm really thankful that he's going to be coming on the following week. So stay tuned for those 2 shows coming up, and who knows what'll happen in the next show after that. You just never know. But you guys, thank you so much. 1,701 of you. We love you. Please come back to Dip a Toe next week, 8 p.m. Eastern time, same channel. And we love you all. Thank you. And